In the previous video, we prepared the base system. We installed all the core components: BSPWM, sxhkd, Terminator, PCOM, Polybar, and the rest of the tools that make up this environment. That gave us a working setup, but right now it's still just a base. In this video, we're going to configure the files that actually define how this workstation behaves. These are the key configuration files: bspwmrc, sxhkdrc, the Terminator config, and the Polybar config. These control everything: window behavior, keyboard shortcuts, terminal workflow, and system visibility. And this is what transforms a basic install into a practical workstation for physical security and cybersecurity work. We start with sxhkd. This file defines all the keyboard shortcuts, and in a BSPWM setup, the keyboard is everything. Instead of moving windows with the mouse, we control everything directly. We add shortcuts to resize windows quickly in any direction. This is useful when working with multiple terminals, browsers, or tools like Burp Suite. You can expand or contract any window instantly depending on what you need to focus on. Then we add direct shortcuts to launch tools like Burp Suite and Firefox. These are tools that are used constantly, so having them one key combination away makes the workflow much faster. Next, we configure Terminator. This is where most of the work happens, so it needs to be efficient. One important thing here is that the Terminator config file is not created immediately after installation. So instead of editing a file directly, we first open Terminator and configure everything through the GUI. Inside Terminator, we go into Preferences. We disable the title bar to save space, choose a readable font, and configure colors that are easy on the eyes during long sessions. Once these settings are applied, Terminator automatically generates the configuration file in the background. At that point, the setup is persistent and ready to use. This turns the terminal into a much more powerful workspace. After that, we move to Polybar. Polybar gives us a clean and minimal status bar. We define a simple color scheme that matches the environment and keeps everything readable. We also remove modules that are not needed. The idea here is to keep only what adds value. This is not about adding more information, it's about having the right information without clutter. Finally, we set a wallpaper using nitrogen. This is not about aesthetics for the sake of it. It's about having a clean and consistent environment that feels professional and comfortable to work in. When you spend hours in this setup, small details like this matter. At this point, the important thing is not just how it looks, it's how it works. These configuration files define the workflow of the entire system. They make the environment faster, cleaner, and much more efficient. And this is what makes it suitable for real use cases. Things like network analysis, access control systems, CCTV-related lab work, scripting, browser testing, and working with multiple tools at the same time. And just as a final note, if at any point your key bindings don't respond, double check your sxhkdrc file. A small typo or misspelling there is enough to break the shortcuts, and it's one of the most common issues when setting this up. So now, the base system from the previous video has been transformed into a functional workstation. This is no longer just a Linux install. This is the foundation of a real working environment. And from here, it can be expanded even further, depending on the workflow.